That's why we're recording. Okay, we're going.
Okay, you got it?
Got it. Yes, excellent.
Okay.
Thank you again, everybody, for coming to our first Mornings on Main. This is something actually we would like to start on a regular basis again. We used to have what we called merchant meetings, but you know, there's so much more downtown than merchants. There's businesses and all kinds of municipal services and providers. And so we're going to call it Mornings on Main. Whether it stays in the morning or not, it is something that we can determine later. However, no time like the present to get started, especially with the subject at hand. So what I'd like to start with to begin with is we want to actually open it up if anybody has any news that they want to share that's pertinent. This is any ideas or any help that you need, any collaborations that you would like to see us take a look at or get involved with. We'll keep it short and sweet in the interest of time, because I know the big thing that we're talking about today is parking, but we do want to make sure that we're giving you the opportunity to share anything with us that we need to know. So feel free to unmute yourself and share if there's any ideas that you have, or any comments that you want to make, any questions about things that have been going on lately. Now, don't everybody try to speak at once. Because I'm happy to do it if nobody else wants to do it. I'm going to go ahead and call Lauren Parks out, actually. She's right here on the phone. If you did not know, Lauren has a new location. I guess it's not new at this point in time, but she used to be located over on Lynn Street, and now she's located at Main Street. Is that correct, Lauren?
Yes, that's right. We moved so that we can have space to grow, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Fantastic. And I heard through the grapevine you may need even more space. You're just growing as quick as it can go. So that's wonderful news.
Yes.
Anybody else have anything that they want to bring up or share?
Hey, Diana, this is Christy.
Hey, Christy Wall with Grizzly's Hatchet House and River City Escapes. How are you?
You can hear me okay? I'm driving, so I'm trying to manage not messing with my phone. But I wanted to let everybody know that we're starting the karaoke night. I think it's the 27th. I'm not looking at my calendar right now, but it's going to be on Tuesdays. So we're going to see how it goes and see how much response we get. But if everybody can help get the word out that we're going to start that, we've got a post out about it. You can read about it online on our Facebook page. So that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Christy. And we will absolutely get the word out.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else before I do a couple of RDA updates? Going once, going twice. Okay, very good. I do want to let you know, as we develop this Mornings on Main program, our plan is to have guests come in each month or bi-monthly, however we meet, so that you can get to know various people in the community. Of course, today we have police and parking with us to talk about that, but we want to bring in economic development and library, parks and rec, various people to keep you up to date on different things that are happening downtown. We'll also have ways for you to be more interactive with us. Again, being the first time, we wanted to focus on parking, but we really want this to be an opportunity for all of our businesses downtown to connect, not just with us, but with one another and with all of the programs and services and great things that are happening downtown. So with that said, I do want to go into RDA updates. We are in our new office. We are here right now as we speak at 208 North Union Street. We are accepting visitors now. We will mask when you're here. We're vaccinated, but of course we want to be able to follow protocols, keep you safe, and provide a good example. But feel free to come down and see us. We keep regular office hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. We do step out on occasion, so unless you're just in the area, if you're coming specifically to see us, you may want to ring us and let us know. But we're here. We're excited to share this space. As we begin to open up again, we want you all to see this as a community space. It's not just for RDA. It's a space where you can have meetings. We have a very large boardroom table and AV set up, telecommunications, where you can have Zoom meetings and trainings and all of those kinds of things. So if we can be of service to you, just let us know. Again, you can come down and get internet access if you need it. We just want to make sure that it's a place for the community whenever you need us. We also are very excited to announce we are hosting here in our office the Small Business Development Center, Longwood SBDC. They actually have an office here within our suite. And so they not only help new entrepreneurs get started with their businesses and refine their business plans, they're also here for existing businesses. So they do everything from all kinds of free workshops and meetings and trainings to, a lot of people don't know, you can actually set up a time to come and meet with SBDC one-on-one and go through your own business plan, your current business plan, your marketing plan, talk through different ideas if you're having some cash flow challenges, or if you really want to find ways to expand your business through e-commerce and things of that nature. So they are here for you. Their services, by and large, are free of charge. I encourage you to visit their website. Again, it's Longwood SBDC, and having them here accessible to you makes things very, very easy. So we want to provide not only resources for entrepreneurs, but for you, our existing merchants, because we recognize that it's great to have new businesses and we want to continue to have new businesses, but we also have to help take care of you guys. You've already made the investment. You're already down here in the River District. And so it was really important for us to partner with them and for them to have an office here to be available to you. And Austin, I see that you spoke right up. You work with SBDC all the time. They are huge and fantastic help. I'm so glad to hear that. So you've already got, yay, Austin, you've already got some firsthand knowledge there. And I believe Lauren may have worked with them through the Dream Launch program initially as well. That's who we brought in. So they're a great resource. So spread the word. We're going to put up a poll here in a little bit. I won't take your time right now, asking whether you'd rather meet on, and actually we'll probably send it out more as a doodle to find out if you want to do this in the mornings, in the afternoons, in the evenings, on Mondays, on Fridays, before 8:30, real super early, or lunchtime, whatever it may be. We'll always offer the opportunity to meet us on Zoom, no matter what we do. But we're really looking forward to having you guys come and do these mixers in the office too. I do like to try to keep it to mornings if we can, but I'm open to other ideas as well, because I realize not everybody likes to get up early. So we will get out to you with the poll. Now, I don't know that we have Mr. Kelvin Perry on. Is he on with us, Kirsten? I don't see him.
I don't see him. Perhaps something came up, but we can come back to him if he pops on later.
Yeah. We'll skip it. Okay, we'll skip it for now, and then if for some reason we can't get him this meeting, we'll make sure and get him at the next one. The hope is that economic development will join us for every one of our meetings and kind of give you updates on projects. I believe today Kelvin was going to talk about the public input that they got for the space at Lou's Antiques, and a little bit more information about that, but I'm out of turn and don't want to speak for Kelvin. So parking update, that's enough for me for now. Before I turn it over to Major Wiles, does anybody have any comments, questions, suggestions? No, all right. Major Wiles, I believe that means we are on to you to talk about the parking changes on Main in the River District. Oh, you're muted.
There we go. You think I've been doing this long enough, I would have figured it out by now, right?
That's all right.
Dana, thank you so much. Appreciate this opportunity here. And I just want to take an opportunity to introduce myself, Chris Wiles. I'm the operations commander for the police department. Of course, Chief Booth here, coming on 3 years, has done a lot of exciting things in our community, and so glad to be a part of that. Been on the city for almost 28 years now, and Danville's my hometown. In fact, I'm 4th generation Danville, and so I've seen all the changes that have come through, and really excited about everything that's going on in our city. more especially in the downtown area. As far as the parking goes, downtown parking has always been a concern. And I know you all have seen, I remember going to Belt Leggett when it was located down there on Main Street and going into the multiple levels of that. And so I do have memories of that as a child, but and I remember downtown being a busy, thriving area. And of course, I've seen the photographs for even years prior to where it was standing room only. It was up and down the streets there. So while that may be a thing in the past, I definitely, where it's standing room only, I definitely look forward to the time as all the development goes on to have more and more people downtown. One of the things that has, since really I've been here, has been a challenge over that period of time has been parking, especially right along on Main Street. And so all of the businesses that are located there, we've fielded complaints about parking. And generally it's fallen into, up until recently, generally dealt with folks that were employees of businesses who were actually, whether they were located on Main or located adjacent to or off of Main, kind of parking in those areas and really taking up spots that were primarily focused and should be focused for the merchants that are downtown right there along Main. Those are really kind of the prime spots, if you will. And that accompanied with another more recent thing that's come up, a development, is that more folks living in the downtown area, which I personally think is outstanding. That's kind of, to me, what's one of the things that's going to help this bring in all the positive changes. But it also does put pressure on Main Street parking. And so in the last 12 months or so, we've had spoke with some merchants that have been dealing with those issues of primarily of employees of different businesses or government entities, and also residents taking up parking, the time parking that's there along in Main. So we started looking at that and looking at a way that we could potentially help improve that situation, help improve merchants have more turnover in their parking there along Main. And one of the first things we really identified was the time frame that parking was restricted to a period of time. And that time frame started at 9 a.m. And what that meant is that, and with the 2-hour restriction, even if the park enforcement officer or police officer goes out there and documents somebody who started parking, it wouldn't be until 11 a.m., 2 hours later, that we could even begin to take enforcement action on that, which is pretty much so the vast majority of the morning. And so that was one of the things that, again, looking at employees and businesses and residents in the area kind of contributing to the parking problem right there along Main, backing that time up where it started at about 7:30. That would then give us opportunity to discourage employees from parking there, and also to discourage and encourage, preferably discourage them from parking their residents in the first place, but encourage them, if they do, to make sure that they get those vehicles moved in time in the morning, so that as businesses start to open up along Main, there'll be availability for patrons, for customers to come and park and not have those taken up by folks that live in the downtown area. And so that, and then number two was the time duration, and realize that there's if we went to each individual business would probably have a specific time that would fit their business perfectly. One of the things that we discussed and there was concern about is kind of piecemeal the time along that section of Main Street. And so if you had a mixture of times, whether it was an hour or 2 hours or 90 minutes or whatever the case may be, that could lead to confusion. And so one of the things that we thought in talking with some of the merchants downtown that an hour period of time would be a better period of time than would be the 2 hour mark. And again, this is something you know, that we're gonna try it, see how it works. We believe in talking with some of the other merchants and enforcement that this will be beneficial. And again, this is right there just along Main from Ridge Street down to Craghead Memorial. And so we're going to see how this works. And we really do think that this will help solve some of the issues that we have been hearing from merchants along in there. And from a timeline perspective, and in fact, starting, I think it is today, you may even see some folks out there with Public Works starting to actually paint lines for individual spots within Main Street. That was one of the things that we had actually heard some complaints about too, is that sometimes folks would park far off the curbs and or not know exactly where within a space to park. And so by putting the lines there, kind of more appropriately defined parking spaces, then it gave, make sure we had the most efficient use of those spaces. So that's actually starting today. And so you should be with the weather. I'm not sure they'll be starting today, but today was the scheduled day, weather permitting. May 3rd is the day that the Public Works or traffic control is going to begin putting up the new signs, which again, and again, a huge shout out to River District Association, Diana, Kirsten, the materials that they put together and partnered with us have been tremendous and are really, you guys do incredible work and really have been a fantastic partner in helping us roll this out. And again, it's something we hope that is, we want it to be beneficial to our businesses located and patrons in the Main Street area. We're not at all trying to generate revenue by writing more tickets. Quite the opposite. We'd much rather not write tickets, but what we really want to do is again, the whole intent of this is to improve business for businesses, to create parking for their patrons along Main Street there. And so they've done a great job with some materials, and including in that, we're going to have the signs going up on May 3rd. And then beginning May 3rd, we're going to be kind of, I guess, if you will, kind of a soft rollout of the enforcement on that. And we've got a warning type ticket drafted up that will have if somebody parks over the 1 hour period of time, which the signs are going to indicate, they're not going to get an actual ticket. They'll get that they'll have to pay. They'll get a warning, hey, letting them know that there's been a change in the times. And actually on that, we're going to have some links to the resource materials that RDA has put together, and also some mapping to show where if you do need some longer periods of time for parking, whether it's an hour and a half or 2 hours or longer, within a very short walk, there is availability for that parking as well. So that'll be going on. We'll be doing that from the 3rd of May to the 17th of May. Now we will continue to enforce at the 2 hour mark, which it has historically been. So basically, folks, if they're over an hour, they'll get a warning. If they didn't go over the 2 hour, since it's been that way for quite some time, we will enforce after that. So it's not giving folks a free pass during this soft rollout period. It's just that 1 hour period is a period that we're going to be giving warnings for during that time there. So kind of that is it in a nutshell. I wanted to take the opportunity to also introduce a couple other folks to you. On the line here, I believe, is Captain Jerry Pace. Jerry is captain of the South Side. Back when Chief Booth came, one of the things that he brought and identified for us to need is to have accountability and ownership of geographic areas. So when you have that, that really ties supervisors and officers, leadership, and the folks on the street actually making a difference every day, ties them to a geographic area that they can kind of call home. And so first things we did was divide the city along a natural barrier, the river, north and south. And Jerry is the South Area Commander. And come in January, we kind of brought that geographic accountability to kind of full stride by taking our patrol bureau, which is the largest and most critical part of a policing operation. That's what everybody, when you think about the police department, that's what most comes to mind, right? Police officers, patrol officers in marked cars responding to calls for service. And they constitute the largest percentage of our workforce, and certainly the most important. They're the ones out there on the street in it every single day. And so prior to that, we had, and as long as my career has been here, we've really deployed our patrol bureau by schedule. So at any one point in time, there was one patrol unit working the entire city. Now, the officers were generally assigned to work specific beats more or less regularly, but the entire shift and that supervisor worked the entire city and was accountable for everything that happened law enforcement wise, providing service for that entire period of time, generally a 12-hour period or 10-hour. Quite some years ago, we worked 10-hour shifts, but then they would rotate off and it would be in another entire unit that would be responsible for the entire city. So you can see how you kind of have that on again, off again, and sometimes from an accountability model that's not as effective as if you have folks that are regularly and continually, whether they're working or they're not, at the end of the day, particularly when it comes to the patrol leadership, they're accountable for what's going on in that part of the community. So January 1st, we ran out neighborhood-oriented policing, and it took our 4 patrol units and it tied them to quarters, 2 in the north, 2 in the south. And with us too, we have, and I have to give both of them opportunity to speak here too after any Q&As on the parking. But Lieutenant Johnny West is the quarter lieutenant of the Southeast Quarter, which downtown is located in fully. Actually, Central Boulevard on the south side, Central Boulevard, which changes into South Main, that's the boundary that separates east and west on the south side. And so everything east, south, and east of Central Boulevard, South Main is Lieutenant West's area. So give them both an opportunity here to speak once I circle back around and see if anybody has any particular questions about the Main Street parking. You know, while I'm waiting, and maybe somebody to mute up, I know there's obviously some concerns. I know we've had at least one person had some feedback, thought that maybe 90 minutes would have been a better time than an hour. Or again, we talked about, you know, if you look at each business, certainly a business that say it was like a hair salon or something, the time frame may extend over an hour. I know the restaurants along Main, generally lunch, you know, moves a little bit more quickly than say at dinner time. So believe that an hour period of time won't negatively impact folks for lunch, because this again runs from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. so that the lunch shouldn't impact the lunch crowd. You know, the question is, what happens if somebody wants to come to lunch and then they want to go to another business down the street there? So that maybe give them an extra few minutes here and there. Certainly understand that. But I will say this, and right now, one of the several things that we're working on, and is again, parking, it's a good problem to have, I guess you could say, that with the continued development and all the exciting things that are going on downtown, it's going to continue to put pressure on parking. So we're going to continue to push forward and try to, and looking at better technology to be able to, you know, get people where they need to get to parking, wayfinding, signage, certainly looking for more efficiencies in the way that we enforce parking. And so there's a lot of changes that are kind of in the works. This, we believe, and a lot of that stuff, unfortunately, takes quite a bit of time and quite a bit of anticipation, trying to kind of read the tea leaves of what's going to happen and work with economic development to try to, you know, not implement a change that, you know, 18 months down the road is going to be obliterated by some new development or something. So it's a little bit of a moving target, but we felt with the change of the signs and the times, that was something that we could pretty quickly change and impact at a fairly low cost and kind of measure and see how that would impact. We hope for the better. But again, this is something that we're looking at other things long-term to help our parking situation, and certainly enforcement, unfortunately, is one of those things that were it not for enforcement, just like for speed, it's not something that we want to do, but unfortunately, were it not some enforcement tie-in there too, folks, including myself, would revert to not necessarily abiding by those restrictions, in this case, in terms of time parking. That said, the hour period of time, there's not like there are meters, or we have some, or that have some digital alerting that lets us know as soon as the minute period of time is up. We're kind of doing it the old-fashioned way. Damien, and unfortunately, I don't think she's listening in on this. She wasn't able to get to a computer with camera and mic, but she does it the old-fashioned way, walking up and down Main. And so I think last we spoke, from the time she starts at the bottom to the time she makes her way down, takes her about 45 minutes to do that. So if you kind of see where I'm going with that, if somebody parking 1 or 2 minutes over, or probably 5 or 10 minutes over, I suspect that the nature of how we're doing it, there's going to be some amount of time in there that, should somebody have lunch and want to stop by another business on the way there, I don't think they have to worry too terribly much about. As soon as that hour up, there's not going to be Damien. She's great, does a great job, but I don't think she's that fast, so she can get all the way. She's going to sprint all the way back up Main to get that taken care of. So there's a level of buffer there that gives us some enforcement time that won't be right at 1 hour that we're having that issue. I will speak to one other thing before I kind of open up again and pass it on if there aren't any questions. One of the things that has come up, and again, this is one of the things we're working on, it's going to take legislative action and ordinance from the city, if we're able to get it done, is that Code of Virginia provides for if somebody has a handicap placard, handicap tag, they are allowed 4 hours of free, if it happens to be metered, or timed parking, regardless of what the restriction is. So if it's whether it was 30 minutes or whether it was 2 hours or an hour, the code permits, with some exceptions, for somebody with a handicap placard or with a handicap plate, up to 4 hours of free, either metered or, we don't have meters, but timed parking. There is a provision in the ordinance, in the state code, that does allow a locality by ordinance to remove that restriction and basically make it so that way, even somebody with handicap placards, they're required to abide by those time restrictions. But of course, it has to be by city ordinance and has to be appropriately signed, coming and going from that zone or area that it's designated by city government. If that decision is made and that is successful, then there would be you have to make sure we appropriately sign it to give folks who would ordinarily would be in Virginia would assume that there would be 4 hours of free timed parking. You have to clearly designate that area if it is passed to be able to enforce that. And unfortunately, we do have some folks that, and unfortunately, again, it's folks that are residents and they have handicap placards and they are aware of that code section, and they I would suggest take advantage of that. So to resolve that particular issue is going to take a little bit more action, and something that would ultimately, if it is applicable, have to be done by city council ordinance, and that takes a little bit of time there. So I think that covered most of what I wanted to touch base on there.
Mr. Wiles, if I could interrupt you, my apologies.
Sure.
We've got an unexpected error with our Zoom. So if you would like to go ahead and introduce Lieutenant West and Damien Sparks, and any information about them, please, and Captain Pace, of course, please go ahead and do so. And my apologies, we'll make sure to get Kelvin in.
Yeah, I'm over there running my mouth. I'm sorry.
No, it was unexpected. My apologies.
Hey, no worries. So, Jerry, you on there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, there you go. There's Jerry, and like I say, anything on the south side. Of course, we, the city, we work the city. The city's a city, but when it comes to accountability and your regular go-to people, Jerry's your go-to person on the south side, and then also Lieutenant West, Johnny West. He is your specific go-to, and I would say your first go-to if you're having something particular that's always, it's, you got an emergency, something going on 911. If you've got something kind of ongoing, something you think needs law enforcement intervention, Lieutenant Johnny West is your go-to person for that, and can work with you to resolve any law enforcement related questions or concerns you may have. And Johnny, you on there?
Yes, I am.
There you go. All right, there he is. All right. Any questions? Any concerns?
Please feel free to unmute, and if for some reason, if we get cut off, you can send your questions to Kirsten at River District Association and she can distribute, or Major Wiles, is there an email in case anyone wants to get in touch with you directly for additional questions?
Sure can. Yep, it's pretty straightforward. It's Chris, CHRIS.Wiles, WILES, at danvilleVA.gov, and that's danvilleVA together.gov. So Chris, CHRIS.Wiles at danvilleVA.gov. And you can always, if you keep email is very convenient. My desk number is 799-6500, 799-6500.
And of course, we see Damien Sparks. You've probably seen her out and about. She of course is ensuring that all of the parking is as it should be. So she is, feel free to unmute and say hello, Damien. She is lovely, friendly. Don't be afraid to approach her with questions.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I had to do some switching around to get on here, but I'm on here now.
We appreciate it. And Kirsten, I have to give her all the credit. She's come up with all the materials and messaging from the RDA point of view, working very closely with the city and the police department. We will be distributing out packets of maps to all the businesses downtown. These maps are tearaway and meant for you to write anything you want to share with your customers, parking, where they can park, help them find another business if they're having trouble doing so. So we're printing these for you to give to you to help with messaging with your customers. And so if you use them all, feel free to let us know. We'll be printing them on a regular basis. It also has the district's app information on it. That way you can, and if you haven't got your district's listing yet, make sure you get in touch with Kirsten, because that is a great way to communicate with your customers. It actually has functionality on there where they can hit the location button and it will give them directions to your business. But in that in-between spot, as far as where they need to park, especially if you have customers that stay over 1 hour on Main Street, this map will be very helpful because it outlines additional parking areas in the district.
Yeah, come on in.
I do want to clarify one thing with Major Wiles, as far as where this new 1 hour parking goes to on Main Street. Does it end at Ridge or does it go farther up? You are muted, my friend.
It's just Ridge. I think there happens to be some, I happened to notice the other day, there along in front of Paths. There's some 1 hour, I think that's 1 hour, but that's been that way, I think, since Path opened up. But in terms of what's being changed in the coming weeks, that is from along Main, just along Main, from Ridge all the way down to the Crackhead Memorial Drive intersection. So none of the side streets, just there along Main. Those blocks as you go down from 600, 500, 400. That's 400. I think 200 there, 300 rather. So just right there along Main, none of the side streets, none of the parallel streets, just Main from Ridge down to Memorial Crackhead.
And I'm getting the flashy telling me that we're about done. To clarify, we'll be giving those maps to every business in the River District, not just those located along Main Street. So for all of you that are located in other areas, you'll be getting those as well. My apologies, Kelvin is here and we don't have any time for his update due to our unexpected error with Zoom. But please send us any questions. Please contact Major Wiles. I appreciate all of you coming on. We will have more time next time, and looking forward to catching up. So let us know anything that you need and anything we can do. I guess.
Thank you, Diane. Appreciate it so much. Kirsten, thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope y'all have a great day.
Take care.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Have a good day.
Good job, Major
Thank
Wiles.
you.